Good morning, YouTube. Hitting you up with another car video. My name is Kennard Vernon Stewart here for Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn, where we talk about Auburn football nonstop. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Man, you talk about a loaded running back room. The Auburn Tigers are absolutely loaded. We have talked about this before. And we're going to talk about it again because there's some things that we always casually leave out when we talk about Auburn's running backs. Well, for one, we're not going to talk about what we leave out first. But what we're going to talk about is the ongoing conversation. The ongoing conversation of, some of the top running back talent probably in the country. You talk about guys like Tank Bigsby, who jumped around as a four-star recruit 1 week, a 5-star recruit the next. Turns out to be a very, very high-end, all but a 5-star recruit out of Hogansville, Georgia. Had a very nice showing in the All-American, Under Armour All-American game. Because that's something that I wanted to see. I wanted to see how Shaun Shivers was going to transfer his talent against some of the elites of the country. And he really did a good job in the few carries that he did get in that particular football game. Of course, we talk about DJ Williams. I really like DJ Williams as the prototypical potential every down back in the SEC. He had a very good showing in the LSU game. Thought he should have gotten a few more touches, but we got to see, though, how Auburn improves on the offensive line because they suck. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they sucked. I went back and looked at some footage of Auburn on the offensive line. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the guys just weren't collectively good. Now, Jack Driscoll and Prince Tega Wanogho, yes, they did get drafted in the latest NFL draft. However, as a team, though, these guys really were probably one of the worst combinations of linemen that I'd seen. They didn't play very well as a unit. Subsequently, it led to, and it's always going to lead to, inconsistency with your offense. Your offense can't get going. Because I was even looking, had a chance to take a look back at the Oregon game. First drive of the game, Gus Malzahn attempting to get some tempo, hurry up, no huddle going on, but then the lineman jumps offside. That ruins the tempo. That damages the down and distance. So instead of it being 2nd down and 7, now it's 2nd down and 13 with a true freshman quarterback on the road. First drive of his career. I mean, you kind of tank that drive. Next drive did pretty good, got some tempo going, but the offensive line proved to be that inconsistent entity of this particular squad. I also thought the more I dug into this particular season, I don't think Bo Nix, Auburn didn't really do Bo Nix much favor with the wide receiver core either. You got a banged up Will Hastings, got a banged up Eli Stove, you got a banged up Anthony Schwartz. Pretty much your only reliable receiver was Seth Williams, and he was even banged up. It had a shoulder injury at certain points of the season, so that led to some inconsistencies there. But the running back position really could have been a lot more solid, I think, if Auburn would have had a little bit more consistency in offensive line play. Going into this season, though, you got Tank Bigsby, you got DJ Williams, you got Mark Anthony Richards, but a guy that we just don't talk about enough is Shaun Shivers. Shaun, 5'7", 180-something pounds, just a freaking short wrecking crew, just a great guy, great football player, great competitor, but we just don't talk about him enough. He is a guy that could be a complete game changer. Feed the man the football instead of, last year, Shaun Shivers averaged about 4.2 carries per game. I think we need to up that a little bit to about 7 or 8, at least. Now, he doesn't have to be, he can be. I really think he can be an every down back in the SEC. He's very strong. He's very physical. He's low to the ground. As a matter of fact, his defining moment was his only carry in the Iron Bowl, where he just straight up ran over Xavier McKinney, who's now playing safety in the NFL. Okay? So, Shaun Shivers has to get the football more. In open field, you cannot catch him. One man is not going to tackle him unless you trip him up. But if it's a square up, you're not going to tackle this man square up. And the good thing about Shaun Shivers is even though he's as far as standards go, a relatively short, presumably undersized back. I don't agree, but he doesn't mind running in between the tackles. As a matter of fact, I think that could be a strength to get him running between the tackles. I really think there's not enough stock placed into Shaun Shivers' talent. He could be a feature back, or he could be the complementary back to either DJ Williams or Tank Bigsby. Now, with the pandemic that's going on and with the limited sample size as to, reps for Tank Bigsby, not having a spring game, that puts Shaun Shivers right there in the mix from an experience standpoint to be able to take this thing to the next level with his career-wise. I don't see why he can't be a guy that averages about 50 to 60 yards, real quality yards per game for the Auburn Tigers, especially with some good blocking from your offensive line. Kind of reminds me of the auxiliary role that Corey Grant and, say, Ontario McCaleb played in Gus Malzahn's offense back when Auburn's offense clicked. Because you get a guy like Corey Grant had about 400 or 500 yards that year. 400 or 500 really good yards that year for the Auburn Tigers. I think we got to put a little bit more stock into Shaun Shivers and don't write the young man off yet. He's very talented. Probably could start for a good number of teams in the SEC, in my opinion. So let's take a look at this. Let's not sleep on Shaun Shivers as we've been sleeping on him throughout his career at Auburn. He needs to touch the football a lot more. Gus Malzahn, I hope you hear me. Give Shaun Shivers the football. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. I am your host, Kennard Vernon Stewart. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War damn Eagle.